Hey kids, I feel weird without a microphone, so here's a remote. Just a reminder that you can get tickets to my tour, the Just Okay tour, at x1entertainment.com/JamieFrench. My show in San Diego was literally incredible. We had a blast. I absolutely loved meeting you all and laughing with you all, and I cannot wait to do it again on the tour. So click the link in my description, or you can head to x1entertainment.com/JamieFrench. A couple of the titties. What? A couple of the cities, tour cities, titties, I don't know. A couple of the cities are almost sold out, or possibly even sold out by the time I'm making this announcement, so get them all their holler. And let's get into our double feature movie review. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Hey kids, who doesn't love a good old-fashioned love story, am I right? You know those amazing Hallmark movie love stories where a girl breaks up with a toxic boyf and heads back to her hometown and falls in love with the obnoxious unemployed loser that she never liked growing up? Or how about another typical romance plotline where a famous singer has to go back to regular school and falls in love with the loseriest loser girl in his class because she's not like other girls? Or there's the other famous plotline, my personal favorite, where a guy gets convicted of capital murder and goes to prison and falls in love with a corrections officer who then busts him out of jail. What's that? That's not a typical romance movie plotline? Oh, that's right. That's right, I forgot. It's actually a true story with a very tragic ending. Yes, friends, the story of Vicky White. Have you guys heard this story? I had never heard of it until I found this movie. Vicky White was a corrections officer who fell in love with one of her inmates. His name was Casey White. No relation, the last name was a coincidence. So she busted him out of prison, and it is a very crazy, very sad, but very true story. So Casey White was awaiting trial for capital murder when Vicky engineered and facilitated his escape by taking Casey in a car to what she claimed to her coworkers was a scheduled mental health evaluation at the courthouse. The manhunt for the pair was widely covered by American media. Law enforcement caught up with Casey and Vicky White on May 9th in Evansville, Indiana, with the manhunt ending in Casey White crashing the car while he was driving. Vicky White then shot herself in the head right then and there when they were caught. Casey White was apprehended and returned to Alabama. Now guys, there are documentaries about this story. I've watched a couple of them on YouTube. It's sad, okay? I'm not gonna make fun of this story. I would never do that. But what I am gonna make fun of are the two heinously terrible feature films that came out about it.
What are you talking about?
So we have Bad Romance, the Vicky White story, starring Wendy McClendon-Covey, the hilarious, wonderful, can do no wrong in my eyes, Wendy McClendon-Covey.
I cracked a blanket in half.
But my personal favorite, and far worse than Bad Romance, is Prisoner of Love, only on Tubi, financed by Tasty Cake.
Tasty cake.
Tasty cake.
Tasty cake.
That's right, y'all. One true crime, two terrible flicks. I was gonna call it Two Flicks, One Crime, but it sounded like, you know what it sounded like. Listen, I pulled up Prisoner of Love on Tubi. I was just kind of looking for a movie to review. I was perusing through like the Tubi originals. I really wanted to review Trap from M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
I couldn't get it in like an MP4 just yet. I was kind of lost, you know. So I pulled up Prisoner of Love, and I really didn't realize it was a true story, even though there's a disclaimer at the beginning that says it's a true story. I didn't realize that it was. I had no idea the ride it was going to take me on, and I'm so excited for you to take this ride with me. So get ready for a double feature movie review. I don't think we've ever, yes, we have done that. We did that with Tara Reid, but still, get ready for a double feature for some awesome side-by-side comparisons and a heckload of tasty cakes. Yeah, I guess Tasty Cake paid for Prisoner of Love. I don't know. Never seen anything like this in my life. Anyway, we're gonna get into it all. But first, a word from today's lovely sponsor. Actually, we don't have a sponsor today. There was a bit of an editing blunder, and we don't have a sponsor. So I'll just tell you what I got going on. French roast is still a thing. I haven't talked about my brand in a while, but French roast is still a thing. All of the items are available now, and we have two very exciting drops happening. One for fall, and then the coolest stinking thing to follow shortly after that. So don't forget about French roast. It is the coolest clothing line. It's dry humor. It's just okay. I lost my mind seeing you guys wear your shirts to my show. It's like the inspirational brand, you get it? We who wear French roast the shirts that wear inspirational quotes, like be your own kind of beautiful. Anyway, check it out. Now back to the show. Hey kids, we're back. So the first flick that covers this story we're gonna talk about today is called Prisoner of Love, which is just the best title I could have ever hoped for. So in this movie, Vicky White is played by an actress named McCullum.
You want your donut? Oh, yeah.
And no, do not correct me and tell me I said her name wrong. Her name is Nicole. Not to be confused with Nicole 337.
Hey guys, it's Nicole.
Anyway, she is playing Miss Vicky White in this movie. And in this one, they really portray Vicky as this wonderful, very loving, generous person. In fact, the description of her character on IMDb refers to her as a respected churchgoer, a loving daughter, and a trusted neighbor. And according to everybody who knew Vicky White in real life, this is quite accurate. She apparently was also really into like tanning in a tanning booth, and she owned a tanning bed. And for some reason, the creators of this movie thought that that was a very vital piece of information, because the amount of times they focus on it, I feel is disproportionate to its relevance.
How come you're always lying in that tanning bed?
Would you get out of that toaster oven? You spend more time in that cooker than a Thanksgiving turkey.
You're tan. It reminds me of sunshine.
I'm in the tanner.
So she is single and ready to mingle, and she's always scrolling through dating apps like Tinder or Hinge or Cringe. But also, perhaps the most interesting thing about her character is that she still lives with her ex-husband, Tommy, who's dying of Parkinson's.
Dying of Parkinson's.
Am I weird, or did he say that weird?
Parkinson's.
At the time of filming this video right now, which is at 10:04 p.m. at night, I have still not been able to confirm whether this part was true. If they still lived together after they separated, I don't know. Her ex-husband did have Parkinson's, which eventually, he lost his battle with. But I couldn't verify whether or not she was actually still living with him after they were separated while she was actively, dating the guy from Good Charlotte on Tinder. Anyway, now that we've met Vicky, let's sit back and watch her clean her sunglasses for a solid 11 seconds.
Clean these stinking things. Stinking, friggin' dirty shit. Stinking, no good run, snake licking. Fragging.
Stop it.
So Vicky shows up to work at the jail on her day off.
Vicky White! What's the director of corrections doing here on her day off?
And it turns out she is there to escort an inmate to a court hearing or something. We, of course, know the inmate to be Casey White, her lover scorned. So on the ride to the court proceeding, we are hit with the big 360 McTwisty.
This was just a test run. See if I could sign you out.
What? That's right, you unsuspecting viewers.
Yeah, he's the bedhead.
All dozens of you. This opening scene actually takes place 3 months after the actual story starts, which is 3 months earlier.
Vicky, where the heck are you?
I'm in the tanner.
So her poor ex-husband Tommy hath fallen and can't get up. So she has to stop tanning and go and help him.
Crying out loud. Hold on.
You spend more time in that cooker than a Thanksgiving turkey.
But don't I look delicious?
So this dynamic is very interesting. Like I said before, they are divorced but living together. But she shows him all these potential dudes that she might want to meet on Tinder. But then he still kind of seems like he wants to be with her.
I just wish I could find someone who was interesting.
Interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an artist and he still draws portraits of her even though they're divorced. And I don't know, you guys. Hedgie. She makes him Hot Pockets and carrots.
I cut up some carrots for you, and I put your lunch in the microwave, okay? Don't forget the Hot Pocket, okay?
Nothing says I still love and cherish my dying ex-husband like a Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket! Cut you out some carrots, okay?
I cut up some carrots, okay? Okay?
Side note, I'm going off script here a little bit. I know that this was a true story, and so, her ex-husband probably is important in the real story. But if you just watch this movie, it seems like the ex-husband is going to come back somehow. He's gonna be relevant. He doesn't. He just dies.
I'm so sorry to hear about Tommy. Now, I know
He's dead.
It was so strange how they did this, but it gets so much weirder. So back at work at the jail, Vicky is still scrolling through Tinder, looking at some interesting looking dudes. There's this Steve Urkel looking fella and this creepy looking creep. That actually looks like a mugshot. Anyway, Vicky and her coworker Arnie get notice of a new inmate transferring to their jail named Casey White.
Casey Cole White.
Which is strange because Vicky's last name is also White. So he's on arraignment for like trying to kill a bunch of people or something.
Well, looks like he is in town on arraignment for attempted murder, on top of, let's see, 9 other crimes.
And he immediately starts flirting with Vicky, the corrections officer, in a very strange way.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about what you need.
What do I need, smart guy?
Me.
That is some riz, dude, if I've ever seen it. Skibbity riz. I don't actually know what that means. Now remember, friends, this is 3 months before the opening scene. So Vicky and Casey have only just met and they got off on the wrong foot. She won't let Casey have like extra food and extra privileges. He keeps referring to her as Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
They heavily focused on Casey being extra hungry and needing more food because of his size.
As you can see, I'm not exactly a petite.
And they focused a lot on his size.
He's a big.
And I thought it was so weird when I was watching it until I was like doing more research about the actual true story. And I guess the real Casey White is like 6'9", right? He's like Goliath. Pretty sure. So there's this kind of random scene out in the prison yard of Vicky like watching over the inmates, Casey in particular. But suddenly this dude here won't stop describing his breakfast to her while she's trying to watch.
Yeah, I went down to Grandma's and got me a good breakfast this morning. The usual scrambled eggs, grits, toast, hey, all the fine stuff. Yeah, it was real good. I need to get you down there sometime.
I guess this was supposed to be like the first signs of Vicky finding Casey attractive. It was supposed to be building some tension or something, because she's watching him lift weights and she's acting like it's all attractive and manly, but like he doesn't actually lift the weight. He never they don't show him doing the bench press.
100.
So the whole scene was just so odd. Like we got this guy talking about sausage.
Let's talk about buttered sausage.
I would have liked to see this other corrections officer talking about something other than biscuits. I don't know. Actually, no, I take that back. Instead of a corrections officer, I kind of wish it had been an inmate.
Hey, Miss Vicky, how you doing today?
Your breakfast in?
Yeah, I got breakfast. That big fella over there gave me a tasty cake. Anyway, let me tell you something. You know what I don't like about being here? Being in this prison, the men's prison with a bunch of men. First of all, there's beard hair everywhere. Second of all, the blankets are all crusty for some reason. But more importantly, what are them little circular things that are at the bottom of a urinal? I thought maybe it was like a bath bomb. I tried to use this bath bomb, but it didn't really make me smell good like a bath bomb normally makes me smell. So I'm just wondering what them's for.
But then again, absolutely not one single thing in this movie goes as I would have hoped it to. Take, for instance, this scene that's supposed to actually show the first signs of like their chemistry together, except for there is none chemistry. He goes into her office to ask her if he could be transferred to a different cell, and then just asks her for a cupcake.
Could I please have one of them tasty cakes that you got stashed in your drawer?
Yeah, so that is the beginning of the incredibly bizarre product placement for Tasty Cake that had absolutely no place in this movie.
Tasty cake.
Just wait, okay, the Tasty Cake thing gets pretty unhinged. So anyway, Casey's all like, yeah, my mama used to call me the Cookie Monster because she could not hide a cookie from me. And I guess that story just like really does it for Vicky, because she gets all giggly and weird. I'm being fully honest here, fully honest. I have never seen less chemistry between two actors in my entire life. Please, in the comment section down below, name an on-screen couple who had less chemistry than these two animals.
There you go. Come on. Come get your prize.
Yeah, kiss him. Are you guys gonna kiss? Are they gonna kiss? Any minute now.
Nothing even happened to suddenly make Vicky start liking this guy. I get that, it's a true story. I guess we're just supposed to put the pieces together. But again, if we play devil's advocate and we just pretend we turned on this movie for funsies, what exactly happened between the two of them to make them fall in love?
Could I please have one of them tasty cakes?
That'd be breaking prison rules.
Yes, it would.
In fact, all she knows about him so far is that he's a murderer who can't lift weights.
500.
I likes what I see.
He does it again. I'm so curious as to why they couldn't show him doing the bench press. I don't get it. So Vicky goes to see this old gal who she calls her Noonie.
Hey, Noonie. Noonie. My little Noonie. Noonie. Tell you Noonie.
I don't know what exactly a Noonie is. A grandma? An aunt? A person who wakes up at noon? I don't know. But she goes to Noonie's and Noonie's like, oh, Vicky, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be working at the prison, showing the prisoners how to break rocks?
They don't break rocks anymore, Noonie. Now they just lift weights.
Do they though?
Oh, 1,000.
Okay, kids, I need to take a little pause here to just illustrate to you how strange this is, this film. So if we go back to the very beginning when Vicky is taking Casey to his court appearance, which again, we already know was just like a test run to make sure that she could sign him out. These red letters come on the screen and they say the dry run, which I guess means like the test run. Why is it dry? You can probably guess. Then we flash back 3 months to them when they first met. But then when she goes to visit Noonie, the title card says 3 days before the escape. And then that scene with Noonie is the only scene we see before yet again another title card says after the dry run. So if my wonderful, precious, amazing, incredible, intelligent editor, Danty, would be so kind as to make us a little timeline here of this movie.
Okay.
So we've jumped from the dry run to 3 months before the dry run to 3 days before the escape to after the dry run. I'm so confused. And then all of a sudden, once we're confused AF, then we see Vicky and Casey actually interact in a romantic way.
It's you and me. We are not coming back.
So like, there was no love story in this love story. They literally had like 3 to 4 scenes together, no chemistry, minimal conversation, her watching him not lift weights twice, and we are now supposed to be rooting for this relationship. Good work. Did any of you guys watch the show Prison Break from like 2010 or something? I loved that show so hard. That had a similar plot where Wentworth Miller's character fell for like the prison nurse. What was her name? Sarah? It was such a good show. But the way they developed their relationship was so much better. You were just dying towards the end of the season for them to finally kiss or be together or something. I don't know what in the Sam Hill, the creators of this film, had in mind, but nothing at all ever made these characters seem in love. In fact, the most interesting things that happened up to this point were Casey's interactions with the other inmates.
Quack. 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 Quack.
Quack, quackity, quack, quack.
What are you talking about?
So right after the dry run, the test run, Casey and Vicky are talking in his cell. It's very romantic.
I got Georgia on my mind.
They're planning their escape, and he tells her that she has to break him out before he gets transferred back to Donaldson, which is another prison.
And once they ship me back to Donaldson, that's it.
So while they are preparing for Vicky to bust him out of prison, we get this little mini montage of her just like preparing for the big escape. She makes some fake IDs, polishes some guns. The title card tells us that it's the big day. Why didn't it just say like the day of the escape? I don't know why that's funny.
Morning, Arnie. You buzz me in?
Just a side note, this is not relevant at all, but I found it so interesting that Vicky always has to ask her employee, Arnie, to buzz her in. Like, he just stares at her no matter what she's doing, even if she's standing there holding like a big tray full of coffee cups. And she's his boss. She asks like 87 times in this movie for him to buzz her in.
Buzz me in. You buzz me in? Come on, buzz me in.
Anyway, so she gets to work on the big day, ready to transfer, ready to bust her lover out of the clink, only to find out that Casey got transferred to Donaldson.
Oh, they took that giant out of here. Casey White, Donaldson Penitentiary.
And then we fast forward 2 years later. 2 years later. So we don't really know what happened in those 2 years, apart from the fact that they kept in contact. And the way that the filmmakers catch us up on their relationship is just by overlaying audio of their phone conversations while Vicky is in the tanning bed.
This is a prepaid call from Casey White.
Damn. I wish you were on my mouth right now.
I've been dreaming about you.
I'll
touch you, touch you, touch you.
Hello, my little tasty cake.
Such a bad boy.
Hello, Taylor Swift.
What if I was lying next to you?
Almost taste you.
I have to see you.
Oh, girl, I miss you.
I want to see you.
Sure are a sexy woman.
I want to see you.
Okay, this is gross. I don't like all the references to taste and mouths.
She run my mouth right now.
So back at work, we find out that over the past 2 years, Tommy has passed away of Parkinson's. But more importantly, Casey then gets transferred back to Vicky's prison because he confessed to murder.
We got a return visit from a Casey White.
Who's he?
But then we find out it was a false confession that he gave just to get him transferred back to Vicky.
Why'd you confess to murder?
Because it was the only way.
I'm actually lost. I don't know if this guy actually did anything. Anyway, this conversation gets so uncomfortable when they bust out the tasty cake.
Little tasty cake.
Yeah.
Was Tasty Cake like hoping that we would crave their cupcakes from watching this? Because frankly, it has the opposite effect. I love how she went to get one out and there was one like missing from the first pack, which makes me think that this took several takes. I mean, what do you expect with a scene as romantic as this one?
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh.
I actually need to watch this scene again to get the full effect.
Are you hungry? Little tasty cake.
Yeah.
You want a little tasty cake?
What is this?
Oh, not that one. Gotta put that back.
Open it up.
Sorry, what's good? Did he just go? What does it mean? Okay, that was a lot, Robin.
That was a lot, Robin.
In fact, it was so much, Robin, that I really feel like it should be redone. Yeah, I think me and Nick actually could have done a better job as actors in this scene.
Hey, what happened to your face?
It was that tasty cake you gave me. I had to fight off 30 men
Oh no.
just to keep it.
Well, you're in luck. 'Cause I got a secret stash.
Oh, dang, girl. You got both of my favorite flavors.
Hey, guess what? I'll trade you
Trade me what?
your mangled one for this normal one.
But it's flat.
Ain't nothing like a mangled tasty cake, my mom always said.
All right.
I was hoping you'd say yes.
Make a move.
Oh, okay.
Last one. You want to split it?
That's a big, that's a big 10-4.
Hold on a minute.
Prisoner ready?
Casey White for a mental health evaluation.
Yeah, that'll be the one.
Hey. You got this.
And that's the way the cupcake crumbles.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Okay, so Vicky is getting prepared for the big escape, so she sells her home for super cheap, like $95,000. She pretends she like locked her keys in her car, has her friend come pick her up, so now she has a getaway car in a parking lot. She's all ready, and it's time for the big day. The escape. This time it's called the escape. So Vicky tells Arnie that she has to take Casey in for a mental health evaluation. Again, all by herself because they're still short-staffed. And she just busts him out of jail so easily. I'm kind of impressed because obviously, this happened in real life. And I'm surprised that more people haven't like tried this method of escaping.
I do not fit down here.
Then scrunch up!
Yeah, Casey, just scrunch up! What's interesting is in the other movie, in the Wendy McClendon Covey movie, Bad Romance, Vicky tells her co-workers that not only does she have to drop Casey off at this mental health thing, but she also says she's not feeling good that day and that afterwards she's going to go to urgent care and not coming back to work. So that was quite clever because then if everything goes to plan, then nobody would have even been looking for her until the next day. And that is also what real Vicky did in real life. However, in Prisoner of Love, the movie that got almost everything wrong, all she said was she was dropping Casey off and she'd be back in 2 hours. So they immediately notice her missing at her little surprise retirement party where Arnie's fingering her cake. I hope your finger was clean. So in both movies, like I said, they have this surprise retirement party for Vicky, and this is where they kind of get caught in different ways. Prisoner of Love, like I said, they simply just realized that she was missing, whereas in Bad Romance, they do not realize she's missing, but they get a call that one of their cruisers is abandoned in a parking lot. And I'm honestly, like, even after doing the research on the real crime, I don't know which one is the truth, but the important thing to know is that they are caught. C-A-W-T, caught. No more tasty cakes for y'all.
Vicky White is a 17-year veteran of the Lauderdale County Corrections Department. Officials believe she may have been kidnapped by Casey White and is considered to be in extreme danger.
Have fun while it lasts, Vicky.
Dang, Noons. I'm sure she would appreciate the vote of confidence. So Vicky and Casey have to ditch their getaway car and they have to buy a new truck with cash. And this was very important in both movies, but only in Prisoner of Love did it result in the best line in cinematic history.
We sure as hell don't have time to jackass this heap around.
What? Oh, hey, look, an entire camera crew visible on the truck's reflection. Camera guy, camera guy, camera guy! So then they make the highly intelligent decision to get a motel, but they have to pay a homeless guy to do it for them because obviously, like, you know, Vicky doesn't want to get recognized and stuff. This happens in both flicks, and I really wouldn't have thought much of it, but then when I was reading the Wikipedia, it just randomly dropped a bomb that was like, they asked a homeless gentleman who was a registered sex offender to pay for their motel room. So the rest of Prisoner of Love is mostly just the manhunt. Nothing that interesting happens the rest of the movie besides the part where Vicky like comes out of the bathroom all dolled up and seductive and Casey's just like, I'm good with my tasty cakes and pizza. It was the closest thing to me that looked like pizza. Actually, no, it should have been my phone. Tasty cakes and pizza.
Are you just gonna eat that pizza?
By the way, there's more tasty cakes in this scene. I really actually want to make a short film now. Me and Nick were just talking about this because I've always like wanted to make short films, and we were talking about like, how do you get the funding? How do you get a big enough budget to make a good short film? And Nick was like, well, you probably have sponsorships and product placement. And I was like, actually, yes, that is what happens. I've seen it with the tasty cakes on Prisoner of Love on Tubi. And if you're British, Tubi.
What do you think?
You look great.
Casey had us fooled. You know, we thought he was this just ravenous romantic during the tasty cake scene. It turns out he's just a dud. A real limp noodle. Unfortunately.
Are you just gonna eat that pizza?
No, I don't want to get cold.
A far, far cry from the slutty tasty cake grunting. So eventually they get caught and Vicky tragically dies at the end of the chase. So what happened in real life is that Casey drove onto a grassy knoll. The police rammed their vehicle, which caused it to flip into a ditch. Casey surrendered without incident, but Vicky, apparently when she realized that they were caught, she took her own life right then and there with a gun that she had in the car, which is very sad to me. I know that like she made a bad decision and she had technically broken the law, but people have done crazy things in the name of Love. And it doesn't appear, as far as everything I read, it doesn't appear that she hurt anybody besides herself. So I think it's really sad. And I thought they portrayed it pretty well with Bad Romance. The police, you know, rams Casey and Vicky's car. Casey gets caught and you just simply hear a gunshot and you know what happened. But with Prisoner of Love, we get this.
I love you, Casey White!
Just takes you right out of the story, doesn't it? I thought she was gonna say, I love you, tasty cake. We have a lot more to talk about in this video, okay? But the last thing I want to say, last thing I want to make fun of in Prisoner of Love is this guy right here in this pink polo, because why is he there? He's not a cop, right? He's just a guy.
You are a guy.
Quite a guy.
Quite a guy.
Oh my.
My.
That rhymes.
That rhymes.
But seriously, this was like a high profile police chase with a 6'9" highly violent criminal. Why is this guy here? Maybe I'm missing something. Moving on. Hey guys, we're back. So it's time to talk about the other movie that covered this true story. It is called Bad Romance, again starring Wendy McLendon-Covey. Definitely don't take a shot for every time I say Wendy McLendon-Covey in this video, because you will physically die. So Bad Romance is less bad than Prisoner of Love, which isn't saying much, but there are some absolute gems in this one that we have to talk about. So this time with Vicky's character, the ex-husband is still part of the story, and she does go and like check on him and maintains this sort of like strange caregiver slash friend relationship with him. But in this one, she doesn't live with him, so she goes to his house and check on him, and he's not as insufferable as an actor. He doesn't say he's dying of Parkinson's.
Dying of Parkinson's.
So that was kind of an interesting difference to me. Why, I don't really know, but it was. But similar to Prisoner of Love, Vicky's life is very single and very sad. In this one, she goes to bars and like tries to flirt with dudes, but they ignore her. Her life is boring and mundane. She eats burgers and cakes by herself, like we all kind of do a little bit. You guys get it. Also similar to Prisoner of Love is that Bad Romance, there is no character development almost whatsoever. Actually, let me rephrase that. There's character development, but they don't develop Vicky and Casey's relationship. And there's a high chance that maybe that's because that's how it was in real life. Like it was just a whirlwind romance, you know? They fell for each other like that. But in Bad Romance, she's literally like, she starts flirting with him in the yard and then immediately talking about getting married.
Get married?
In the same conversation the first time they met. And what I really liked about this scene is like, they're trying to take a walk together, but they're in a prison yard and there's nowhere to walk. So they're just like making little circles.
Don't listen to what that judge was saying. I'm gonna take you out for a good time. Well, I hope you like flowers. If I saw you on the outside, I'd come right up to you.
Damn it. It's not that funny. It's not that funny, but it's funny. So then Casey gives her this flower in front of literally everyone, even the other prison guards.
She's a flower.
I like flowers.
Are you just looking at things and saying that you love them?
It was weird to me that nobody even like paid attention to the fact that inmate gave the corrections officer a flower. Also a little weird to me that I still am not seeing anybody lift weights in the background.
I'm gonna do it. I'm about to do it. I'm gonna lift them.
Is weightlifting not allowed in movies? Someone let me know. This prison though, in Bad Romance, has more prisoners. So bigger budget, bigger names, more actors. You think they would have at least included the biscuits and gravy guy. I was missing him. So just like the real story and just like the first movie, Casey does get transferred to another prison. This time though, it was for attacking a guard. And this tripped me out a little bit. So he gets transferred to the other prison, but he's still talking to Vicky on the phone while she's at work at the other prison. And what I know about prison is that when inmates call somebody or vice versa, the calls are all monitored. How did it also not raise any eyebrows that she would physically go see him? Like prison guard from another prison visiting an inmate, that would raise red flags. At least in Missouri. So I don't know if this is just like not accurate to the real story or if somehow the real Vicky and Casey got away with these strange, uncomfortable, sensual phone conversations for years without anybody noticing.
What are you wearing?
I'm not wearing anything at all.
Baby, you don't know what you're doing to me.
What are you gonna do to little old naked me?
Kiss my boo-boos.
I feel like I shouldn't be watching this part. Like, why did both movies want to show us? Why did both directors of both films think it was important that we hear their phones?
I need to spit out my gum, if you know what I'm talking about.
Nothing about this conversation was necessary for us to understand that they had a connection, okay? We could have replaced the gross phone conversations about tongues and gum with actual relationship development. Can you imagine that? So in Bad Romance, unfortunately, there is no Noonie. Instead of Noonie, Vicky has her mom, and her mom is like always trying to set her up with people. She really wants her daughter to be in love and be married. She oversteps a little bit. Like there's scenes where Wendy would come home and her mom was just there. And I just have this feeling, even though I'm too lazy to research it, I have this feeling that this portrayal was a little bit more accurate than whoever the heck Noonie was. So this random scene happens in this movie where one day Vicky comes home and her mom is there with some dude. And while a little bit random, everything about this scene was pretty normal to me at first. They like shake hands. He's like, hey, very nice to meet you. Your mother tells me you're divorced. I'm divorced too. You know, just like kind of normal meet and greet happening until suddenly he says,
Mind if I use the bathroom? I got a bit of a drive ahead of me.
Now that in and of itself was only slightly weird. Like I still wasn't really, my radar wasn't really going off just yet. But then the scene takes a strange turn when all of a sudden you hear him farting in the bathroom and then start plunging the toilet.
Oh my dear Lord.
And then we never see that guy again, so what a gas. Then Casey gets shanked in this one. Nothing comes of it. It was kind of funny to like, he gets shanked and then the camera cuts away and then as soon as it cuts back to him, he's just like covered in fake blood. So, just like in the first flick, they did stay true to the story where Casey does like the murder confession so that he can get transferred back to Vicky's prison.
You realize this letter will go to the district attorney who, dollars to donuts, I presume, will file murder charges against you.
Huh? Dollars to donuts?
Dollars to donuts.
Dollars to donuts is what a wonderful phrase.
What a wonderful phrase.
But I prefer doll hairs to donuts or dollars to tasty cakes. Oh, tasty cake. Tasty cake. What I like about Bad Romance is that they did a slightly better job at showing Vicky like struggling mentally, contemplating her life and her existence before deciding to make a rash decision, like breaking her lover out of prison. Like in this one, she actually grieves after the ex-husband dies, whereas in Prisoner of Love, she was just like, yeah, he died. So, anybody got a tasty cake? Tasty cake. But like in Bad Romance, they show her in this genuine agony, wanting to die, grieving at the funeral, feeling like she wasted her life and that she's like too old to really find anybody who's not a convicted murderer. This film actually gave me a lot of empathy for Vicky, which is like very important in a story like this. It's very important, and Prisoner of Love did not deliver. It didn't make me feel anything except hatred for tasty cake. So it seems to me what I'm gathering is that Casey White's decision to confess to this murder that he allegedly didn't commit is really what did them in, because now there's no chance of him ever getting out. So that decision he made was probably the catalyst, you know, to the real Vicky busting the real Casey out of prison. Because I just wonder if he like had just waited it out and not confessed to something that he allegedly didn't do. I don't actually know if he did, but let's say he didn't. If he had just not confessed to that, maybe eventually he would have got out of prison and they could have just been together normally. I don't know. What's interesting though is in both flicks, Vicky is actually a little concerned that Casey did kill someone. They both like raise objections to it, but I really wasn't clear by the end of either movie. I guess I need to watch the Netflix documentary that just dropped about this, because even Google is like, doesn't tell me, but I'm not very good at Googling.
You confessed to a murder?
Yeah, well, that was the only thing I could think of to get me back here to your pretty face.
So you really said that just so you could come back here and see me? It's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
That is sweet. Nick never confessed to murder for me. A piece of garbage. So Vicky continues to struggle mentally throughout the whole rest of the film.
I finally meet somebody that sees me the way I want to be seen, and he is in for life. Am I so unlovable?
This was actually, again, really good acting. Gave me a lot of empathy for Vicky. I just wish that she had been speaking to like a person instead of a dog.
Spike.
The dog in Bad Romance was kind of funny. She talks to him a lot. I feel like there was even a scene where she accidentally like backhands him in the face.
Come home. I'm still in a prison. Sorry, Spiky.
The director said, no, let's leave that take in. It's important for the story. And that's kind of about it for Bad Romance. After that, it was just like pretty uneventful. The same story as Prisoner of Love, where they're on the run, they change vehicles, they stay in motels and stuff, they camp out, and they like allude to the fact that they did it, which was a little bit gross.
You okay?
I think so.
And then they get caught at the end. And again, like I said before, the way that they actually got caught in Bad Romance had much more of an emotional impact than
I love you, Casey White.
That is just about it for Bad Romance, the Vicky White story. Yay! Congratulations on being better than the Tasty Cake Fuel to be original. So in conclusion, my dear friends, I've said it a few times, but this is a very tragic but yet very fascinating story. And what is super weird, if you were there for my live stream the other night, I already talked to you guys about this a little bit, but what is super weird to me is that I started working on this video in August. That's how long movie reviews take, okay? But in August, the Netflix documentary had not dropped yet, and it's not like Prisoner of Love or Bad Romance were that new. So the fact that I started working on this right before this dropped is just very strange. But anyway, the point is, the Netflix documentary just dropped like a week ago, and it answers a lot of the questions I had throughout this movie review. Like, did that guy Casey actually do anything? What's with all the phone sex? That sort of thing. So I highly recommend you watch the Netflix documentary, check out Prisoner of Love. Bad Romance is okay, but it's like, it's not good enough to be good, and it's not bad enough to be fun. So don't waste your time. Just come back to this review if you feel the urge to watch Bad Romance. Anyway, so that's all for me today. Please come see me on tour. We have written an incredible show for you guys. I love y'all. I gotta go stock up on tasty cakes because I'm all out.
Last one.
And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Quack. 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 Quack.
Quack, quackity, quack, quack.
What are you talking about?
You know what we're talking about.
Quack. Quack.
Hoot, hoot.
Quack. Quack.
Caw, caw.
Quack.
Quack, 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 quack.
I want to say, that's a big 10-fold.
Yeah, you got to.
It would be funny to call back to the Matthew Pancake video that I just made and say, we have gerbils.
Gerbils?
Oh, you didn't watch that. Can you put this back on me? Hey, squishies! There's squishies here today.
This is a mommy and this is a baby. And they hold hands because they're friends.
Do you see it say jark, my friends? Na na na. No. Maybe you should fart.
Can't.
Yeah, but I could add a sound if you just went, oh, hold on a minute. Step back.
Why?
It's funny.
Hold on a minute.
One more time, sorry. There's a hedgehog. This is so cute. Oh my god, there's this little dog. Stop it. Just stop it. These are gonna be in my intro. Little squishies. And a shark. What is this? A kite? A hedgehog. A squirrel. This is the best day of my life.
I'm gonna use my ex-husband's credit card to buy the tickets.
Thought he was dead.
Well, he is. That's why he won't be complaining.
Wow. Lot of focus in Prisoner of Love on Vicky's ex-boss and the U.S. Marshal who's like investigating the case. They like had to fill the time somehow, I guess, and instead of developing the actual story, they kind of developed a weird side plot that went nowhere, so good work.
Quack, quackity, quack, quacking.
Why does Arnie always call it the penitentiary?
Penitentiary. I almost said penitentiary.
I'm just about sick of this guy quacking. There's too much quacking. It's quackery.
Quack. 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 Quack.
Hey kids, I'm just here with my friend group. Gang's all here. Why are these here? Okay, that was fun. Why is Vicky's mom the character in Bad Romance and Noonie is the character in this one? What is a Noonie? I can't help but wonder, they focus a lot on Noonie's drinking and how she's like always putting gin in her coffee and stuff. So I'm wondering if Noonie is like a person who starts drinking at noon. Wasn't there a Noonie in Teletubbies? It was like the name of the vacuum. And they would say, naughty Noonie. Naughty Noonie. Close enough. Why did both directors of both films think it was important that we hear their phone? It reminds me of Adam Sandler. I wanna kiss you all over.
And over and again. Dun, dun, dun.